Okay, I read that. Evaluation criteria. This was the criteria they set up to evaluate different people. You set your goal and objective, what you want. That's what they mean by have a criteria. So therefore, number one, verification of the bid. A bid validity, that should be validity, not validity. A bid validity period should not be less than 90 days with an amount 22. That should sit in the bank as this thing, as this thing. Exactly, sort of. Completeness with all the required documentation stated in bidding document. Certificate of business registration incorporation. This will be administrative compliance during your evaluation. Proof of having executed contracts of similar magnitude in the past 5 years. This is where the committee recommendation will come. Next time when we are giving criteria for bid, do you understand? No, when you say this, proof of executed contracts of similar magnitude, this is so open, director. This is so open. It means that now, even I went to Basse, or I went to Sutuma Serele, or I went to Kuloro and built a house of 9 million. Therefore, I'm qualified to supply this. This is why I got it. This is why committee meeting dated 12 to 13 January 2021 states that bidders should submit along their bid proof of having executed contract of same magnitude in the past 5 years of within a minimum value of 1 million. Discrepancies as observed by the researcher. It was observed that during the preliminary evaluation, Zen Enterprise Lot 2 did not submit their bid bond and bank confirmation, yet they were awarded the contract of supply of fertilizer. Are we taking note? Zen Enterprise bidding document. Supply and delivery of 10,000 tons of compound fertilizer. Total price $9,650,000. A similar contract of the same magnitude was executed in 2016-2017, and the above company found to be financially very capable of handling tender of this nature. Document establishing bidding eligibility were equally attached. 2021 fertilizer increases in respective of implication for 2022 cost. It was indicated in Zen's bidding document dated August 3rd, 2021, that the past years have registered a dramatical increase of fertilizer prices, thereby making a sharp projection of near record high fertilizer cost in 2022. According to the historical suggestions, the increase in price could be attributed to the following: labor shortage, rising wages, production going down to 60% due to lack of labor and overbooking of fertilizer production companies. On the 25th January 2021, the National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporation, formerly GGC, issued a bidding document which stated that tenders shall be considered for evaluation if the tenderers fulfill the under-mentioned conditions, which are bidding document number 10. Discrepancies. The notice of contract was awarded in February of 2020, and the contract agreement was signed in 24th February. Even though researcher did not say, is it 2021 or 2022? Okay. The notice of contract was awarded in February 2020, and the contract agreement was signed in February 20. This should be 2020. It should be 2020. Document submitted by Global Trading Company Limited. Tender form, restricted tender, letter of intent, GPPA certificate of supplier contractor registration, TIN certificate, bid form, similar contract and notification of award of contract. Discrepancies. Minutes of contract committee dated 21st January 2021 indicated that GPPA highlighted the reasons for disapproval for restricted tender, but the letter of disapproval was not submitted to the committee. However, we must take note of this, please. At the beginning, GPPA in fact did not bless the process. but you guys went ahead to convince them. We want to also see that way of how do you guys convince them under this approval letter. That's also very important. In the same communique, the committee unanimously agreed for the procurement officer to give the list of companies for supplying fertilizer, which were as follows: Fermango, EFT Establishment, Tambedu Field Shell, Sabin Madi and Sons Limited, Zen Enterprise, Adonis, Sadina Nero, Guide Global, and the Unique Solution. Now, questions.
That's the end. You leave the questions.
Okay, thank you very much.
You cannot be a player and the rest of it.
Thank you. Now, we go to the questions now. Honorable members, we all pay attention to details and explanation submitted by our able researchers, but that does not mean that we should only be fixed to them. We can ask anything related to fertilizer issue as far as our oversight scrutiny function is concerned. It's not only this question that we're going to ask. You can ask as much as we can. So now the floor is now open to honorable members to ask questions, and these questions should be in record, so that when we are sending our recommendations to the Ministry of to GGC and Ministry of Agriculture, we'll be able to reflect on these records to make a very comprehensive recommendation. Yeah, Honorable Ture.
Honorable Chair, we've talked about the evaluation criteria.
Correct.
If I could request the documents, the criteria that they use, and I'm sure there are documents that have been sent to your office for these tenders. Say, if this committee requested those documents for verifications, what's going to be your take on that?
It's already submitted.
Yeah, that is why we honorable members should have, when these documents were submitted for 3 weeks, I told the people here, they were submitted for 3 weeks. Yeah, we should have gone over these documents, but unfortunately, as I say, your committee engagement, most of you are overstretched and other committees, because me personally, when I requested them to submit, I talked to the Honorable Chair on phone, Honorable Dabo, that are these documents submitted? He said yes. I told him that when they are submitted, you should call for a meeting for honorable members to come and review this document. He said no, if anybody is interested, you go to researchers. That is why I was interested. I took the documents home with me for 2 days, and Honorable Jamme also took the documents to review. So it was I know it was not proper. The Honorable Chair could have called the committees to come and look at this document here before inviting these people. I agree with you 100%. But these documents are submitted, and your question is there. All the evaluation criteria are endorsed in these documents.
Even before the start of this meeting.
Exactly. Yeah, this is a learning curve for us as a committee. We'll talk of that. Yeah. Good. Yes, Honorable. So,
okay. How do we ask? What method do we take to ask these questions behind? Because they are very important.
You can go ahead with the.
Do we give them the copy?
No, the judge is one.
Or the chair will.
This question is there for any one of you to ask. Any one of you. Yeah, and if you have questions outside this question, you are still at liberty to ask them. Yeah, sure. Yes, Honorable Koran.
My question is what are the mechanisms used by National Food Security Processing and Marketing Corporations to counter suppliers that provide false billing
number?
The last number.
Cancel it.
The last number.
Thank you.
I don't know whether I can read again or you understood.
Very good question. Yes, he took the vote, right?
The documents we received from the suppliers, I did procurement officer confirm there was no false document. One of them is giving out specifically what was that.
There were some companies you said have submitted a false document in relation to this type of contract before. Can honorable members look at it so that we know the name of this? Huh?
That's why they were not invited in the subsequent procurement.
So his question is, how do you guys reach to the conclusion they have formed a false document, a contract before?
Yeah, before. It was a contract before.
Let me just help you.
Yes.
Example,
we told them to bring the bank something confirmation, but then they went and brought
3 for 2021 contract, the awardee of each lot will be informed in written on the total quantity required for 2022 on our bidding document that they purchase.
So, please, can I come?
Yes, Honorable.
If I may understand, this is a contract for 2 years.
Exactly. But no, hold on.
No, listen.
You have
Sorry. No, because this particular point. Okay. Sorry, Abdullah.
That's fine.
I just addressed you again. You
That's
didn't
our
when I blocked you.
Sorry. I apologize. Okay, no worries. It's okay.
Yeah.
So, my question is that, please, I do understand that in bidding, most cases, the one who will be the lowest given the contract. But here, there is a question, why was the lowest bidder not being awarded the contract?
Remember, the price comes last. So we clearly state the price was not the case. We have certain criteria where he mentioned those lists where he was asking similar contracts.
Lowest responsive bidder is not always considered if he or she did not respond to your criteria. If I respond to all your evaluation criteria, I'm lowest, you are under obligation to award me contract.
Exactly.
Is that the case for you?
Yeah, that was the case. They were awarded the contract based on the criteria we set on the evaluation reports.
Yeah.
Okay.
I haven't thought.
Honorable, Honorable,
Okay, thank you very much. I think my question is in number 2 of the analysis.
now with the subsidy.
No, not really. I'm not looking at the question.
Oh, okay.
I'm looking at the content of the document.
Okay.
And that's where my question is emerged from. According to the letter communicated to the aforementioned companies, that is Zain, GA, and Unit Solution, which was dated the 15th of October 2021. The contract to supply fertilizer was for 2 years period, 5th of October. Thank you, sir. The contract to supply fertilizer was for 2 years, 2021 and 2022 farming season. And I want to ask, why there is that separation? Because it seems the chain of supply was never 2 years. It seems to be on annual basis. And I think we would like to have a clarity on this very matter. Why were the supplies not in store for 2 years instead for 1 year?
Yeah. Yeah, because with the magnitude of fertilizer and some technicality involved, you cannot leave it as 2 years. At the end of the year, you have to assess his performance, especially when the technicality, that is the quality, which have to be satisfied first. Independent unit called SDS. If that is satisfied, then the following year, with your performance, if he performs well, that's the point you can sign the following subsequent year.
Honorable member.
The follow-up, please, just
Okay. I want to help your question, so you follow. Okay.
No, just
Go ahead.
a follow-up. Thank you very much. That is well understood. But again, I seems to be still confused. Simply because as much as you have a mandate or you have a duty to actually review that contract document, but again, in one of the communications that I have saw, it was clearly stated that if you are to renew the contract, it has to be in line with the previous agreement. And looking at the cost of fertilizer today, it seems something is wrong somewhere because there is an increase in cost, when actually the initial agreement of the contract was for 2 years. So even if there is an increase in the world market when it comes to purchase of fertilizer, I don't think that should really affect the cost of fertilizer for the following year, like in the actual year we are in.
Yes, and follow up to add on to what honorable member was asking. Is it my this opinion of you guys embarked on a fixed and a performance procurement system? I'm committed to this opinion being recalled. Now, how many companies do you guys evaluated?
Evaluated.
Yes.
3.
Thank you very much. No. Honorable Director, you said you have delegated the evaluation responsibility to them.
Yeah,
Now they are speaking. You want to put words into their mouth.
I'm saying,
Wait.
I'm aware of whatever I said.
Yes, exactly. Thank you very much. Okay, now you said you have in fact evaluated 3 companies and awarded 3 companies. Do you understand? That is why even your evaluation report, I'm not very impressed with your evaluation report. This contract amount, the evaluation report was so scanty. Okay, you have done your administrative compliance, move to technical. Do you understand? They complied technically, you move to financial. Now you are telling me you have awarded to the lowest bidder when only 3 companies were reached to the final stage. That's what you given them.
Yeah, sorry.
Yes?
Can I may want to clarify.
Let him answer the question.
Okay, there is a question already on it. Yeah. We thought we would together.
I think that's the question.
That's the question.
But they didn't answer this money.
Yeah, and I think.
Okay, answer him now and also answer my question.
Can I just help to add to what he was talking about? So his
You want to answer Honorable Member's question?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, because his question is very important and it's so critical to this particular discussion, and it's about the timeline of the contract in the submission. Because I've reviewed those documents before as the internal auditor, and also been present at the bid evaluation process. What I understand and what is in the document, I believe, is that there was no contract for 2 years. And I believe no supplier would agree to enter into the supply of fertilizer for 2 years. The bidding document, what happened is to avoid delays. The corporation this 2021 engage. So can I continue? Yeah, the corporation in 2021 wanted to engage into.
Somebody is speaking. Yeah,
But I want to raise something. There's contract agreement. Let's
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes. As far as the bidding document is concerned, it has provided for the selected suppliers, the most responsive bidders, to be awarded contract for the supply of fertilizer for 2 years. But it will be on yearly. You'll be awarded contract to supply fertilizer to the corporation, like let's say in 2021, and the 2022 will be subjected to your performance and the quantity required. Why? Because MD has stated it here very clearly. In the supply of fertilizer, we have different stakeholders with different responsibilities. The Ministry of Finance are actually responsible based on the subsidy payment, the amount that government can allocate for the subsidy. They will now determine the quantity of fertilizer to be produced, to be supplied. The ministry, through the Ministry of Agriculture, will just recommend, because agriculture, through the assessment, will establish the quantity required by our Gambian farmers. But the Ministry of Finance, based on what they have in the basket, will now approve a certain quantity of fertilizer based on the budget allocated for the subsidy. You understand? So in 2021, the Ministry of Finance never gave approval for 2022 supply. That was only sought, and you can see it in the correspondence